Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're learning Mishna Nedarim, Parakeh, Chapter 5, Mishnah, Mishnah 4. And today's learning is sponsored by the Garland family for a schus, for Shalema, for Gavriel ben Etel Gita. Okay. So there, we've been discussing, we discussed this a while ago, that there are different expressions of neder that can be used. Any kind of expression that has to do with a voluntary sanctifying of something that makes it forbidden to have benefit from could be used as your expression for making a neder, to say something should be forbidden to have benefit from. So the next example, the example that our Mishnah uses is chayrim. Chayrim is something that if you say this should be chayrim, this article should be chayrim, you're not excommunicating it. Rather, you are consecrating it to the Beis HaMikdash. It's a form of making it the property of the Beis HaMikdash. And once it becomes property of the Beis HaMikdash, you can't have personal benefit from it. So if a person says the Mishnah says, Hareini alecha chayrim, I am upon you chayrim. I, meaning I am upon you as chayrim. That means I am saying that you may not have benefit from me. The same thing as saying, you're a condom, you're a carbon, right? We know there is ability, I have the ability to make you forbidden to have benefit from me. So if you say, Hareini alecha chayrim, I am hereby, as they have here, I am hereby chayrim to you, hamudaraser. The person who the neder was addressed to, that's the mudar. The mudar is the one that the neder was addressed to, is going to be forbidden. When the noder, the person making the neder, says to him, I am chayrim to you, do you have to answer amen? Do you have to answer I accept? I agree? The answer is no. There doesn't have to be any reaction on the other person's part. There's no need for anything from the person who the neder was directed to. You have the power to make yourself or your property, whatever it is, forbidden to that person. And in this case, you're using the expression of chayrim. Harei ata alai chayrim. You are to me chayrim. That means you are to me. I can have benefit from you. Mm-hmm. You can have benefit from me, but I can't have benefit from you. And in the case before also, in the first case, when he says, I am upon you chayrim, right? That means you can't have benefit from me. I can still have benefit from you. And in this case, where he says, Harei atolai chayrim, you are upon me as chayrim, so then that means he's saying that you are forbidden to me, hanei deraser. The one who made the vow is now going to become forbidden. Okay? Hareini alecha va'atolai. If he says, I am upon you chayrim and you are on me, I to you, you to me, shnei asurin, then they're both forbidden. Because at the end of the day, you directed a neder towards him about you, and then you accepted upon yourself a neder about him. And therefore they're both forbidden. Okay? So now the Mishnah says the following. And the next part of the Mishnah, according to my understanding, is not only relevant to this case of chayrim. It's relevant to any case of a neder, whatever expression you used. Usheneihem, and both of them, but again, going back in our case, and both of them, meaning both of them who are forbidden from each other, mutarin bedavar shel oilei bavel, they are permitted to use a facility of those who came up from Bavel. We'll explain what that means soon. Vasurin bedavar shel oiso ha'ir, but they are forbidden in things or facilities of that city. Okay, those are the words. Mm-hmm. The words are that even though they both kind of have benefit from each other, there are certain public facilities that they may use, even though each one has a right to use that also. And there are certain public facilities they may not use. Now, examples of this will be brought actually in the next Mishnah. But the Mefarshim, the commentaries already here, explain it. So what does it mean when it says they are permitted to use facilities of those who came up from Bavel? So they really explain it here as like this. A facility designated for public use by the Jews who returned from the Babylonian exile to Israel to build a second temple. These facilities were given to the entire nation to enjoy and are not owned by any particular person or group of people. Each mudar is therefore permitted to use them, since by doing so he does not receive benefit from anything owned by the other. There are certain things that those who were coming up from Babel to build the second Beis HaMikdash, they designated it for public use. And it's a public use that doesn't say we're partners in it. It's a public use that really says it's hefker, it's ownerless. Anybody can use it because nobody owns it. Nobody owns it, everybody can use it. An example says, they bring down here, the Temple Mount is an example of such a place. It is a public area which anyone may enter, but no one actually owns any part of it. It's not like a courtyard that we're talking about, 2 houses up into a courtyard, where everybody's a partner in the courtyard. It's not, the Jewish people are not partners in the Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount. It is open. It is hefker. Anybody can come use it. That's the way the Bartanura's wording is. Like, he doesn't talk about this specifically, but he says it's like hefker. It's like hefker. It's ownerless. Anybody can use it, and no one's an owner. Therefore, a person who enters it is not benefiting from the property of anyone else. Right? So even though you can use it and I cannot benefit from you, it's not yours. I'm not benefiting from you. Another example that Bartanura uses is that they used to, I'll read it here, a water pit, a water cistern, that was made for the people who go up for Yontif on Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Show you oilemi Bavel Eretz Yisrael Regel. You know, people would go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael for Yontif. They used to make these water cisterns on the road, middle of the road, it seems like. The Yadin Shekal Yisrael Shabbabai. Everybody has equal rights to it. Hefker. It's like hefker. I mean, there's no one owner, or there's no owners. There's no owners. Everyone can use it, and no one owns it. It's not like something that belongs to partners. So therefore, we say facilities of those who came up from Babel, they both can use because of the fact that no one's benefiting from the other one, but they're forbidden to use facilities of that city. Facilities of that city, okay, as we're going to see, are, certain example. Okay, next Mishnah is going to have examples of that, right? But for instance, a bathhouse, a public bathhouse, right? Mm-hmm. That's an example of something that it's a city facility, a facility of that city, and when it comes to those facilities, everyone in the city is a partner in it. And what's the distinction? What's the way of understanding or seeing that there's a difference between, let's say, Har HaBayis, which everybody can use, and the bathhouse of the city that they cannot use, again, if they cannot have benefit from each other. So the way they explain it here is, the law is that the residents of a town can sell the public facilities of that town. If the residents of a town decide they're selling the merchas, the bathhouse, to someone, they're privatizing it, they're selling it to one person, they can do that, as long as that's being done, with the agreement of all the residents of the city. Okay? In contrast to, let's say, the facilities of those who came up from Babel, like the Har HaBayis, right? No one can sell the Har HaBayis. It's not sellable. No one owns it to sell it. It's not even owned by a group to sell. And therefore, that's something that, even though they cannot benefit from each other, they can use, while the facilities of the city they can't use. And although the Mishnah, frames it continuing on the case where both of them can't have benefit from each other, the same thing applies if only one of them can't have benefit from the other one. It's the same thing. If we're talking about the facility of the city, well, the person you can have benefit from has ownership there. He has a share in the whole thing, and therefore you're not going to be able to benefit from it. While the Har HaBayis won't be a problem. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Let's start with the Arab side today.